Hey folks, I'm going to do a video tonight on my favorite gun that's in my collection. It's a Les Baer 1911 custom carry chambered in 9mm. Some of y'all might know what a Les Baer is, and it's just a name brand of gun is all it is. 1911s are broken down into I consider three categories. You got your production category, which is your Colts, Springfields, Kimbers, things like that. Then you got your semi-custom categories, which is like Les Baer, Wilson Combat, Nighthawk, Ed Brown, builders like that. Then you have your full-on custom builders. SVI comes to mind. There's some other ones out there. I'm a working man. I can't afford full-on custom 1911, and it's hard enough for me to afford a semi-custom 1911. But there's nothing wrong with a production 1911. Once you've been shooting for a while, sometimes people tend to want to try something different, something maybe a little more high-end, and that's what I did several years back when I bought my first Les Baer. My first Les Baer was a Thunder Ranch and 45 ACP. Still got it. It's about, I don't know, 10 or 12 years old now. Thing runs like a top. I carried it every day for, I don't know, 5 or 6 years. I literally carried that gun every single day. But it's a great gun. That's what sold me on Les Baers. Was my very first Les Baer 1911. But let's zoom down here and take a look at it, and I'll tell you some specs on it. Alright, this is my Les Baer Custom Carry in 9mm. I said it, I believe, at the beginning of the video. I'll say it again. This is by far my favorite gun that I have in all of my collections. I'm a 1911 guy. I know that I shoot a lot of Glocks. I've made some videos on Glocks, polymer 80s, and things like that. And I do like Glocks. I like them a lot. They are a tool that is very useful. I enjoy shooting Glocks. I carry a Glock every single day, and I trust a Glock. But if I had to pick one gun to keep from now on, and it would be the only gun I could carry from now on, it would be this one right here. This is a pretty sweet little gun. First we'll check it to make sure it's empty. It is. It's empty. The specs on the gun. From the factory, Les Baer offers a few packages and very little deviation on the packages. He offers custom carry, a Thunder Ranch, a Boss, a Hemi, a Premier 2, an SRP. But when you get one of his guns, you get it the way he builds it. He doesn't offer any real changes to the gun. Very few. So when I got this gun, I did some changes to it like I do to all of my 1911s when I get them. First off, I put a wide EGW thumb safety on it. I have small hands, so everything I've done to this gun, I've done it so I can manipulate it one-handed. The way it's set up from the factory, and the way pretty much all 1911s are set up from the factory, I can't manipulate them one-handed. And in order for it to be a viable carry gun, I have to be able to use it one-handed, because if my strong hand or my weak hand goes down, I have to be able to operate the gun with only one hand. So I put an EGW wide thumb safety on it, and I put an STI short trigger in it. Those are two things that go on every single 1911 that I own. Every single one of them will have an EGW wide thumb safety and an STI short polymer trigger on it. On this one, as with most, not all, but most of my 1911s, I put a one-piece Smith & Alexander magwell on it. Another thing I do to every single one of my 1911s is I put slim grips on it. The factory grips are a little thick, and these slim grips help me out a lot with my hand size in order to be able to manipulate the gun. These are made by Lock grips. They're excellent grips. Highly recommend them. They're similar to VZ. They're a little bit cheaper than VZ, but I like the texture of these better than the VZs. Another thing I've done is put a Harrison design rear sight on this gun and a fiber optic front sight on it. Every one of my carry guns will have a blacked out rear sight like this, and it'll have some kind of high visibility front sight, whether it's a tritium front sight with a bright ring around it or a fiber optic front sight. I've started leaning towards fiber optic sights here in the last couple of years. I stayed away from them for a while, but I really like the fiber optic sights and they work pretty good. These guns aren't cheap by any means. To get into a semi-custom 1911, you're going to have to spend a little bit of money. The entry point to a semi-custom 1911 is about $1,800. That's what his Premier 2s start at, about 1,800 bucks. You can get a Thunder Ranch. When I bought my Thunder Ranch, man, I think I paid like $1,400–1,500 for it. That was a long time ago. Now I think they're going for around $2,000, $2,100, something like that. This gun, as it sits, without anything that I put on it, was about $2,000 because it's a 9mm. If you got it, or if I were to get it in a 45, then it would have been, I think, $1,800, something like that. One thing about Les Baer guns, or his 1911s, he builds them tight. They are tightly fit guns. You'll notice there's no side-to-side movement, no up and down movement. The barrel locks up like a bank vault. They're just very, very tightly fit guns. He builds them that way for a reason. He hand fits every one of his with a draw file. He doesn't use lapping compound. He's not a proponent of lapping compound, and I kind of agree with him on that. I'll have to get into that in a later video. I'm not going to dive too deep into it right now. He fits these guns extremely tight to give them exceptional accuracy, but every single Les Baer I've ever had has run flawlessly, and this one's no exception. I'm sure I've probably had a malfunction somewhere down the line. I've got between 8,000 and 10,000 rounds on this gun, but I honestly can't remember the last malfunction I had on it. I can't remember ever having a malfunction on it. That doesn't mean it's never had one. That just means I don't remember it. I'm going to take it out, shoot it here in a little bit, and get some video footage of it, and I'm going to let y'all see how it performs. And if there's malfunctions in there, I'll show them to you. I do have I usually run with my 1911s and 9mm Chip McCormick magazines. They're just the best in my opinion for 9mm mags. But I do have some Wilson Combat and Trip Research magazines. I'm not a big fan of the Wilson and the Trip magazines in 9mm. They're kind of sticky in this frame. They don't want to eject very well, where the Chip McCormick magazines, they're flawless in everything. Everything they do, they're flawless. Wilson and Wilson and Trip Research magazines, if it was a 45 ACP, those are my go-to magazines in 45 ACP. But in 9mm, I go with Chip McCormick. So sit back, watch a little bit of the video, the shooting video. If you like it, give it a thumbs up. Remember, I'm trying to build this channel up a little bit. I'm not trying to make money. I'm not a professional by any means. I'm still trying to learn how to edit these videos to where they look halfway decent. But give it a like, share it if you will, and hope you enjoy it. 599. Pretty slow draw. See, got all 5 on the left, all 5 on the right, and all 3 right there in the middle. 2 shots in that lower left one. So, not bad. .78. 5.78. I don't know if you can see it or not. We'll do it one more time, see if I can get it about 5.5. Well, could have, but I just screwed out my royally, didn't I? I think that's about as fast as I'm going to get tonight on that drill. Let's move on to something else. I'm going to try to do some headshots at about 5 to 7 yards and see how that goes. Not too bad. Simulated headshots. I didn't really do headshots. These right here. See if I can get that in focus. That's the little man. That's about 3 inches. And might have had one fire. I don't know if other people been shooting down there. It might have been somebody else's. I don't know, but I think it was clean. But I'll go back and look at the video and see. But all 20 of them right there, I believe. So good shoot done. All right, my Les Baer 1911. What do I think of it? Well, do I have as much fun shooting this gun as I do any other gun that I have? Yeah, I do. Is it more fun to shoot than other guns that I have? No, I've got a couple other guns that might be more fun to shoot than this gun. But there's just something about this gun. I don't know what it is, but it is without a doubt my favorite gun in my collection. Pros of the gun: it's a flat shooter. It's a 9mm 1911. It's a very flat shooter. Another pro: accuracy. Super accurate gun. It's more accurate than I can be. Another pro to the gun: the build quality. You buy these semi-custom 1911s for a reason. One of the reasons is build quality. Les Baer builds his guns tight, super tight, but they run. I've never had a Les Baer out of the box that didn't run, tight or not. They vary in tightness from one to the next, but I've never owned an 1.5" Les Baer gun. 1.5" means that it'll shoot 1.5" at 25 yards or at 50 yards. Sorry. All the guns that I own of his are 3-inch guns, which means they'll shoot 3 inches at 25 yards. But his guns are built tight, they're built well, and they run. Now, my Les Baer guns, I don't clean them as often as I probably should. You're going to have a lot of people tell you that Les Baers won't run if they get dirty. That's hogwash. They will run when they're dirty. My Thunder Ranch, I put, I don't know, 1,800 rounds through it before without cleaning it. Ran like a top. At about the 1,000 round mark, I put a little oil on the rails. No problems. This gun's no different. Haven't cleaned this gun in probably 1,000 rounds, and it's nasty. Did you see any malfunctions? No. Anything that happened to the gun tonight? No. It ran like a top. Zoom down here, I'll let you see how dirty this thing is. right. Dirty. Yes, it is dirty. It's very dirty. I'm gonna open that thing up so you can see down inside of it. Now, I'm gonna get a light real quick and see if I can shine some light in there, show you how dirty this thing actually is. It's very dirty. I don't know if you can see down in there or not. Let's see if that high beam, that doesn't really help much. Put it back on low. I don't know if you can really see down in there or not. This thing is dirty, very dirty. It's got carbon buildup all in it. It's got carbon buildup in the slide rails. Whether you can see it or not, I don't know. But this gun is dirty. It hadn't had a bath in about probably 1,000 rounds. But it's dirty. Did it run tonight? Ran 100%. Didn't have a single malfunction with it. Not even with magazines. Ran great. Some magazines you'll find out in 1911s don't like, certain magazines don't like certain guns. This isn't a Glock. Glock makes Glock magazines. This is a 1911 where everybody under the sun makes a 1911 magazine. Quality can be sketchy at best. If you stick with Chip McCormick, Wilson Combat, or Trip Research mags, you're going to have a gun that runs. If you step outside of that, you might have a gun that runs. So run good mags through your quality built 1911 and the thing will run. Any cons to the gun? In my opinion, no. This gun does everything that I want it to do. I like that I get a little bit of finish wear up here at the front. I like that I get a little bit of finish wear over here. You can see the high spots. I like that the barrel is fit so tight. I get that nice kiss around the edge where the bushing locks up. This gun is built for hard use. It's built to run a lot of rounds and maintain its accuracy. That's what I built it for, or that's what I bought it for. I didn't build it, Les built it, but that's what I bought it for. And it does everything I want it to do. So I would like to see Les offer a few options with his guns, but it's his company. He runs it how he wants to. Some people say that he's a jerk. I've talked to him on the phone 2 or 3 times, and I've talked to him in person at the NRA show. He's never treated me with any disrespect. He's always been super respectful, willing to hold a conversation with me and listen to me about whatever problem or concern I might have. And I've got nothing bad to say about Les or his guns. Really love his guns. But hope you enjoyed the video. Give it a thumbs up, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.